I am down in Congressman Farr's office in Salinas, California. I think most of you, if not all of you on the call, know the congressman, and he happens to be my representative here in Central California. So we wanted to have him join us today to talk about one of our biggest priorities, actually since Ocean Champions started, which is the Oceans 21 bill. Why don't we start by taking just a little trip back in time to about 2003. That's when the Pew Ocean Commission report, which was headed, the Pew Ocean Commission was headed by Leon Panetta. They came out with their report, and the U.S. Ocean Commission report was coming out. And I think all of us will recall at that time, it was really fantastic to have the first comprehensive look at the oceans in over 30 years. When it comes to governing the oceans, what are the key obstacles that were in the way? And I think that the way I've always thought about this, there really are three. That the United States had a lack of vision, a clear vision for what we were trying to do with the oceans and why. We had overlapping jurisdictions, and we had fragmented laws. 140 different laws dealing with the details, but missing the big picture.
That's the purpose, I think, of today's discussion, is how do we get everybody on board and all focused together to be constructive in how we can get this bill out of subcommittee and out of the full committee and in the floor.
I think a lot of us have not only tried to work in the environmental community on this bill, but we have tried to reach out to user groups, for example. Coastal State Organization has become very supportive of this bill. The key was to broaden the coalition. And if we only think back 2 years ago, there really was just a handful of people on the Hill and then a handful of groups that were even talking about this issue. And with a lot of good work, and I'm proud of the role that Ocean Champions has played in this, we've broadened the coalition quite a bit.
You've also really brought attention to this, with all of the issues going on in the world. It's very difficult to get people ever in Congress to think about ocean policy. And we think that this kind of legislation is very timely. It is part of, I think, the greater global warming package that Congress really wants to get adopted. They're focusing most of that just on the energy issues. But the energy issues are directed to environmental policy issues, and you can't talk about the environment without talking about the oceans.
I think Jack Stern is on the call, and Jack knows the bill far better than I do and can even speak to this, that it remains a very strong bill.
Yeah, I think there's some really significant things that the bill does sort of in the context of broader environmental law. I mean, the first thing I think obviously that's important is that it establishes a national policy to protect, maintain, and restore the oceans, and that's a stronger policy mandate than I think exists anywhere in terrestrial law. That just doesn't. We don't have anything quite that clear and quite that simple that applies to forest or rangelands or anything else for that matter. And I think that's probably the most important thing that the bill does right there. But it also does some other key things like mandates that the oceans be managed with ecosystem management. And that provides a definition of ecosystem-based management, and these are things that, again, don't exist anywhere else in environmental law, and they're really precedent-setting.
A district ask, a district petition, a district call has more power than any lobbying effort in Washington, because they know that interest is in their district. So in many cases, in bills like this that aren't being heavily opposed, one phone call, two phone calls to a member saying we're really supportive of this bill is maybe all that is necessary. So what I'm asking is people to contact the legislators, and I can give you the names or tell you how to get a hold of them. And let me give you a number to take this down. Take this number down. You call 202-224-3121, 224-3121. Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to work with such a great team.
Well, thank you, Congressman. I mean, you are what we had in mind when we founded Ocean Champions, and we are very grateful for your leadership. It's fantastic. Now we're trying to help deliver it with you.
We look forward to working with you.